Hello guys, so this is Abdurrahman Gilal. In our previous presentation, we learned about arrays in Java. The basic definition of array is that it is a data type, which is a non-primitive data type. What does it mean? That it is a variable which can have more than one values into it. So I can say it is a composite type of variable. So it's a good thing for us that if we have a similar data type things to be accessed from the one point, then we can do that. So what we realize is that if there is a student, he has taken certain courses in the previous semester. So we know that one student can have more than one courses, and then we can also take their grades to identify that whether he qualified for the courses or not. So it is easy for us to actually collect the names of the courses from the student as well as the marks of the student from user. So the best point is that if we are using primitive data types, so it's going to be very complex coding that we have to take, we have to compose so many variables in order to just finish the program. So it's very easy that I know the student has taken courses. So if I take the courses as a variable. Let's say if I am taking, sorry, a string and I give square bracket, which means I am trying to declare an array, and I'm saying courses, which means my variable name will be courses, and I'm saying new and how many courses. So let's say string, and I'm gonna put the number of courses here. So I can take the input from user, so that can actually come here. So it's very easy. Like if the input user has said 5, so it will automatically create then 5 indexes or 4 indexes, whatever, in the memory that we can look like this. So what I mean is that 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, if that's 5, okay? So this is the length of this variable, which means it stores 5 value of the string with the name courses. So in the memory, whenever we want to access, we will be just writing courses. And in order to access any of the value of it, we will have to just simply call the courses, sorry, the spell. And then if I wanted to access this number, so I simply say 3, which means I'm talking about the fourth value of the array. So it has, let's say it was Java, So that's how we actually access to assign the memory or retrieve. If I want to retrieve, I do not put is equals to operator. That's a common sense. So in today's presentation, I've thought to discuss that how can we pass the array into the method, and array receives, method receives array. So that's not unary type of data that is going to be passed. It's going to be almost a similar example, but this time method receives array as an input and then computes the array and then returns possibly an array back to us. So that's how I'm gonna explain this course. But in this example, sorry. But before we go, we should know there are usually few types of methods. I would say 4 types of method. One is that they do not return anything. Let's say I say ABC, the method, and they do not receive anything. So it's a kind of very basic ones which just used for displaying. This is one type of method. Second type of method actually returns something such as integer, float, double, array, or whatever, and they do not receive any parameters. So they do not have any parameters or arguments, and some of them actually do not return anything, but let's say ABC, but they have some parameters here, such as integer, float, and everything. And the last one, definitely, they return us something, and they also receive some parameters. So these can be the 4 different types of methods. So I'm going to say types of methods. So types of methods. So let's just run, like if we do not have singular or primitive data type as a return. So how can we actually return in how to say array here, as well as how to receive array here? That's what we can actually discuss as an example. So I have already created a class which is student results, And the basic is that this program allows the users to input number of courses. So we continue the same thing. So let's say I wanted to ask a user that how many courses you have taken in the last semester. And when this is the taken one, so give me a second. Okay, sorry, because I have already started drawing, so I have to stop drawing actually. So let me just stop the drawing. Yep. So yeah. So courses they are taken along with the names of the courses and the marks they have actually obtained from the courses. And then we calculate whether the student has passed the course or not passed the course, right? So it could be this semester, it could be any other semester. Just an example that how we're gonna take this. And the pass and fail status for each course is displayed along the side of the course name. So basically, this is something that we have to remember that passing array and receiving the returns in array, but we will be using some sort of method. So let me start coding for that. So the first and important thing is that when we want to receive input from users, so what we do is that we actually, you know, sorry, my bad. Okay, here. Okay. So import java.util.scanner. That's how we have scanner. This will help us to actually, this helps us to receive the input from user. And I'm gonna take everything in public static void main. And we have already seen that how array is passed as an input, but, or as a parameter. But we are just, I'm not going to actually explore this further. That's why I'm just gonna just simply say that a string is a type of array for args as a variable or identifier, but does not actually, we do not manipulate. So I have to create my own method. So scheme my variable, my sorry object name, and then I will say will receive value from console. Yep, system.in. Excellent. So this will help me to create object for scanner that can help me to control the values. So the first thing I have to do is to make sure that I actually receive, how to say, I show the message to user that enter the number of courses taken in the last semester, or courses taken courses you have taken. So it's like something we do not actually display anything else into the number of courses. So how do we receive? So here we have to create a variable that receives it. So I'm gonna say number of courses, and then how actually we do that. We know that if we receive it an input is an integer, so next int will help me to collect the number of courses. So this is very simple that we have done in the last presentation as well. So let's say like how now we are going to do the create an array. So now I have said two things. We have not learned multi-dimensional array so far. So I will not be able to give you good example of creating a one complex array. So I'm going to be better create two things. One is the name of the courses, another one is the marks for the courses. So names will be stored in a string for sure. So I will say the courses name or course names, whatever you like. So I say course name is better for me. And uh, and then you know that how we create object, how we create array, we use the keyword new, and then we just pass the same string. And how many actually number of courses, so it depends on the size that user has just input. So here is simple is that we give the same thing, and then now I'm going to create the marks. Marks can be in double, marks can be in how to say in float. So I can take like double. So better I should be like double, and I say marks and the same thing here like double, and then how many courses should be there, and then this. So these are two things. So how will it look like actually? Let me just quickly display. So sorry, yeah. So yeah. So let's say I will have my display like this. So if you see string, so will be like this. Course names. So for instance, user has said 3 courses. Let's say the input here was, let's say 3. So basically this will create 3 boxes, 0, 1, 2. Exactly the same thing is going to happen for the marks. So the same thing goes back here and indexes will remain the same. So, but this array, the course names, will be taken only string. So what if I put Java here and maths here, and then let's say history here? So, so logically, Java is on 0 index. So if I can put the marks on 0 index here, so logically I'm saying that the 0 index will be carrying marks for Java. So basically, I do not have to manipulate anything here to see like whether the course is pass or fail, but the most probably my computation will be based on the marks, right? So let's say if I say 50 and I say, let's say 75 and I say 35. So, and I will say like my passing marks are 50, for instance, passing ratio. So it's my benchmark. So my benchmark is 50. So this course should be pass, and this course should be pass too, and this course should be fail because we did not take the exact number of marks that are required to pass the. So only thing that I wanted to tell you that if we create the same size of the 2 different arrays, so we can logically map back with their indices. So I do not have to create 2 loops because we know the size is going to be the same. And we know that we take strings for the names and then we take double for the marks. So it's basically going to be the same. So index 0 for both will be identical, logically identical, right? So let's run it. Okay, so this is the first thing that we have to understand, and how we take the input from users. So better we take either for loop or for each, we learned the other day. So it's anything that you like. So indexes always starts from 0. So what is good thing is that we can either take marks length or course name length. Both arrays have the same thing, or we still can use this number of courses. Basically, that's our niche point. So basically, it's a good thing that I use number of courses as my limit of the variable. So, oh, sorry, loop. So I just simply say is an increment with 1 and 1. So now the first thing I have to do is to receive the input from the user about the course names. So what is good way is that just display the how to say system.out.println, just display the message and then ask him just give us the name of the course. Enter the name of your first course or second course, name of course, enter the name of the course. So I basically gonna say course number, for instance. That's better. So let's say if I say I, remember the same logic. If I put the +1, it's gonna actually help me to jump 1 index up. It's just to display course number 1, course number 2, course number 3. And then that's it. So this will help me to display the name to the message to the user, and then how we receive the value from the user and where we store it. So I know that I have already created course names, and I better put the index here, I, which means the first index, and then what should be the value to receive. So better we take from the line. So it's the first thing, and then we should do the same thing for the. So I better say this time, I don't say about the name, but enter the marks for the course, enter the marks for the course, enter the marks for the course. So even if I do not display anything, that's perfectly fine because we already input the name for the course. Or if you want to say the course name, so what you have to do is to just simply, we already have stored the name on 0 index, so just display that index. How are we going to do that? Simple is we say course names, and then we put here the index I, sorry. So this will actually bring me back to the first, how to say, first first input that I just put. So if somebody's putting Java, so the Java is stored on index 0, so it's gonna be here. So let me simply create something to display well. So that's it. And then where will I store? So this time I'm not gonna store anything in course name, but I'm gonna store in marks. So where, which position, same thing. And then how we gonna take the input? Definitely integer or double, sorry. We have created double. So next double, that's it. So this is how we're gonna take the input, and that will be stored in marks because marks is a double. And here we have taken course name, so will happen. And we know the last time when we received the number here, so unfortunately every time we enter, the carriage return comes here, so better we avoid in order to just simply not to have the carriage returns from any enter key. So we should just simply say next line. So just to create next line. Yep, this is it. So this will help me to just nullify any. So let's say I will say it consumed the new line character. So if there was any new line character, so it consumes it. So no worries about it. So this is a good thing and a good practice, and the overall program will be fine. So I do not actually pass it to anything first. I wanted to just simply how to say run it to see like if it works fine. So student results is my method. So student results. There you go. So it's running. Okay, excellent. So how many courses? I say I've added 2 courses. So the course name 1 was Java. Let's say into the mark for the Java. I say I took 50 marks. I did not compute the name of course 2. So my course 2 was math. And what were the marks? Let's say 76.5. So that's it. It looks good. It looks fine. So means my input works fine and I can see the values plus the display of the values. So it's everything looks perfectly fine. So now the step is that we create a method and then we create the call of the method. So let me create a method. Definitely the first thing I have to do is to just jump out from this method. This is the method. So yep, you see the man method. So this belongs to the man method. So I just came out from the man method, right? So I'm going to create my method here. So my method, I am going to make, let's say, public. I should make static method this time because I don't need to create any, how to say, any object for that. So I'm just making um, calculate pass or fail. This is my theme. So here you remember return type. So previously we used to say void here, which means it does not return. Remember the 4 types here. I'm going to say Boolean because pass or fail is a Boolean. So I say calculate pass or fail. And what should it receive actually? It receives double as the, how to say, parameter. And then what should be the marks for that? So it should receive the marks. If the same name is there, I don't mind about that. Okay, excellent. So this receives marks, or you want to put into X, it's up to you, but I put marks so that it receives the marks of marks. So it's okay. So this one is for main method, and this one is for this calculate pass or fail method. So how are we going to do actually? The first thing we have to create the array to make sure that we have received uh, we have stored pass or fail for all the courses. So the first thing we have to create this one which we are returning. So let's say I am going to create a boolean definitely, and then any number that you want to say. I wanted to say a name for the variable. I'm going to say it's results. So definitely boolean. So what should be the length of it? So we know that if I say length, it's going to be the same. So this marks will be actually an array because we already say it's a double array. So I'm going to say whatever length is in there should be the part of it. So that's very quick to understand. And then now I have to run the, once again, the so I receive the loop. So I say it's starting from 0 and it should be marks less than marks dot length. It's the same thing. Excellent. And then it increases with one by one. So loops actually, how does loops computes? So we're gonna say that it has if marks are above 50, it passes. Otherwise, it is not passed. So how do we do that? So as simple as that, we have LED results. So Boolean always receives as a result. So I say if marks I is greater than or equals to 50. So what it actually saying, if this expression, so sorry, we have to put here the index. Yep. So what it says, if the marks at 0 is greater than 50, if it's true, it will return 1 or 0. So that's it. So I received here, so in index 1, marks will be stored. Index 2 or 0, 1, 2, 3, as long as the index is right. So I have given 50%, so anybody can give anything. So that's all. And then what we have to return, we have to return results. So the technical thing is that we do not return any particular index. So we do not give any, how to say, any indexes. So we just return the complete name. So it will return back towards here. And this is going to be received somewhere. So now if anybody calls this calculate pass or fail, will actually help us to understand the overall marks. So how we're going to do is that we simply come back here, and now I'm going to pass or fail. So what I'm going to do is that Boolean. So now my results will be passed in definitely Boolean. So I'm going to once again create a results. Sorry, another variable called results, but surely this will return me the calculate pass or fail. But now I pass argument marks, which are finished right here. So any marks totally, and then they are going to be passed here. So now they will go as a parameter here, and then this argument will actually compute. This loops will go to see every marks it's inserted here and then return exactly on the same indexes. So this return will be stored in this result. So now that's it. So we have array return. So this returns us everything that we have actually let. So now I'm gonna create a message to uh, display the message that the course grades are course grades. So this is going to be my display only just to show that, okay, we have everything all set here. And then we go for loop once again, and then we go for integer I again, because we are going to use the same length such as num courses. So if I have num courses or length of any array, it's going to be the same because everything is the same. So now this results actually is occupying pass or fail against each course index. So easy way is that I should create a course, course status as a variable to display whether the person is pass or fail. So how do we do that? We use the short form. Let's say results I. So if it is pass, which means that the first one, if it's true, it's gonna be pass, or if it's not true, that's gonna be fail. So we use shorthands, and that's it. So if I is true, so it will store pass. If I is false, it will store fail. So that's it. So now we have already got that course name and course marks back there. So we're just gonna repeat the course names here, that whether you're pass in that course or not. So let's say println. So now we know the course name. So let's say my course names. So it's going to be I, because every course has a, am I making any spell error? Not yet. So I will put this. Okay, excellent. And then I put this course status, and I put I here. That's it. So I am making some errors. So if there is a naming errors, so hopefully not. So that's it. So this looks fine. Okay, course status should be fine. Oh, Good. So let's run it and see like if everything is fine. The first thing that we have to do that is so we close the scanner because it's not a good practice to let it open. And let's run it and let's see if there's any error. So we're gonna see like yes or no. So hopefully there isn't any error, but let's say so. So student results. Okay, so the found Java lang string. So let me quickly see this array required, but the Java lang string found. So what does mean? What does it mean? My bad. It was basically the error is very simple that we have this as a singular variable, but I'm trying to call a complete array, which is the case. So every time this will compute from the array. So that's the error. It was my bad. Let's run it. So it looks fine. So how many number of courses? I say I've got two courses. So one is Java. So what is the marks for the Java? Let's say I say 55. And number two was, let's say, maths. So what were the marks for the maths? That's a 75. So I passed both. So the Java is passed and the other one is also passed. Let's run it again. So let's run it again. Let's see if it's working fine. Okay, so we realized that we can do the computation. I'm gonna take three courses this time. Java, I said, and I took 35 marks, and the same maths. I took 75, and the third course I say I took, let's say, history, as I said. Yeah, and I got 80 marks. So let's say the first course Java, because of 50% rule, remember we said 50% is the minimum. Because of that, it's fail, but other ones are pass. So once again, I quickly recap it that in this program, what we have done is that we have we have taken an input from user that how many courses he has taken in this course or previous, never mind. And then we tried to create two different arrays, one for the course names and one for the marks. So we created a loop in order to receive the values from the user, and then the course marks are or course names are stored in course names array, and the marks are stored in the marks array. So we logically compare that these two are actually using the same number of indices for each course, such as one for zero for Java, one for maths, and two for history. And then what we did is that we created a method, and the method was public static Boolean calculate, pass, and fail. So it returns Boolean, and it receives double letter as a parameter. So we try to compute it using the same looping. So we just simply make an expression to just see like if the marks are greater than 50. So it's like true, otherwise false. So greater than and logical operators helps us to actually compute returns as true or false. So true or false are stored in results, and in the end we return the results. So we call the result method here to pass our marks from taken from the user, and for each it receives the number of it receives a complete array, and then we just printed the array by creating the short forms by seeing like if the result was pass or zero, like true or false, so we say pass or fail, and then we just display the status here by just displaying and the name of the course which is already received here, and the pass or phrase status. So that's all for today's presentation. If you got any question, please do not hesitate to ask me. Thank you so much.